So for a while I've been wanting to build a 1-to-1 scale replica of the Portal device from Portal. And many people have done the same, but from what I've seen, people just always make them light up and maybe make sounds. Even the limited edition official toy replica does only that. But I wanted something a little more, so I decided to modify this 3D printed model I found and add a custom part so I could put a big ol' laser in it. Okay, first sketchy test of the high-powered laser for the portal gun with a slightly underpowered power supply. Oh, wow. Okay, let me get something in the beam path and powered. Oh, well. Yeah, that's powerful. Oh. Okay, it kind of set fire to that. I think that's enough test. Ooh, that stinks.
A quick note about laser safety. Lasers like this can damage your eyesight even just by looking at the spot on the wall, so at all times I was wearing goggles that were rated for this power. The only time I do not wear the goggles is when the beam is stationary and pointed into a beam dump, which is something that I will explain later. But just in case, it's best to always wear goggles when working with 2-watt lasers, or even power levels well below that.
So let's compare reality to how I would see this through the laser goggles that came with my cheap green pointer. So now let's remove this and look at the dot on the wall. Okay, let's noticeably dimmer, but I doubt, well, I can't even tell because I'm wearing my laser goggles, but I would doubt that that's eye safe.
The point of the previous clip was to explain that cheap laser goggles are not usually going to protect you from this kind of laser. It's a reasonable bet that if you can see the color of the laser through the goggles, your eyes are not going to be happy if you get hit. Interestingly, with this wavelength of laser, or possibly a green laser, you do actually see a dot through properly rated goggles, but it's usually due to fluorescence of the wall or whatever you're pointing it at.
Okay, the prototype circuit, which I had to modify a little bit based on how the laser driver works, for the portal gun is complete. So if I press this, it changes the color to blue, and you can hear that the cooling fan is now active, and then if I go ahead and press the other button, then the laser turns on. Now, one problem with this is that if I were to pull out this switch, if the switch disconnects, the laser goes on immediately.
And now it's soldering time. Lead fumes.
If it does work, it should just, there we go, perfect. It lights up those, and if I press this button, it lights up the buttons. Yep, that's what I spent the past 3 hours on. Alright. After I soldered all the circuitry together and hot glued 4 LEDs into the indicator slot, which made a cool effect as it dried, it was ready for a preliminary test. Also, keep in mind that you have to rapidly disassemble the device in case of a black hole cooling fan failure to disconnect the battery. Okay, final test, I guess, of the portal gun before I properly seal it up. And then I accidentally got hot glue on the inside here on the bottom edge, so I'll need to scrape that off before it'll properly fit together. But here's what I've got so far. So, key switch. The battery's currently plugged in on the outside, just because. Switch to blue, and you can hear the fan turns on, and then beam, and the laser beam turns on. Excellent. Let's get some more views of that. So there's the yellow indicator, and then the bottom switch is for turning to ready, and then add the activation switch, and there's our laser beam. Very nice. And I even added a thing out here so that you can see that it looks like it's not just the LEDs, basically. So I added a little piece of paper behind the aperture thing. After duct taping the two halves of the body together and adding the cosmetic plates on top, it was ready for a few tests. Oh yeah, that's epic. Definitely don't want to shine out the window on accident, though. Let's try mirror. The beam honestly looks photoshopped here, but I swear it's not. It's actually because it only activates the blue pixels on your screen. And I guess our eyes just aren't used to seeing that. After a bit of goofing off, I invited my friend over to be a test subject for it. And... oh, that hit the light bulb. Don't break it. Okay, and where are the keys? I lost my... there they are. Hopefully. And then here is the laser without fog. So notice you can only see the little red dot there, right? But on the camera you can actually see a bit of purple. And then if I were to shine it at you... oh, that'll be cool. Now turn the fan on. It's the switch that still has a servo thing on it.
They both have servo things on
The servo arm, see? Other one. The one that isn't on. Whew, smelly. Excellent. You smell smoke.
I smell cream cheese.
What? This is not... what kind of cream cheese do you buy?
It's smoke flavored.
Yum. Oh, right, I'm supposed to put on my lab coat. I forgot. Oh yeah, look at, do you see on the phone screen?
That's wacky.
Oh wow, that is really, I just looked under my glasses and the beam is really cool. Oops, mirror, where is it? Oh, it's on the other side of you. It's fine.
Ow.
You're probably wondering why he was holding a balloon. That was instant. Ready? Ha! Needless to say, please don't try this at home. Your retinas will thank you. After we were done, I went and found out that it was extremely good at pumping glow-in-the-dark ink, and I also messed around with the lens on one of the prongs and tried to burn some white paper, which worked well, and also the classic electrical type test. And then this is my beam dump setup. As you can see, even just the dot on the black tape is enough to overexpose the camera and could seriously eye damage you just by looking at that dot. So I put a little black piece of metal slanted inside the box and then put a hole in it, and that's literally it. Usually these are made out of solid metal, especially with higher powered lasers because fire hazard obviously. But at least in this case, I can look at the beam without having to fear looking at the dot and damaging my eyesight, as long as the laser and the box are completely stationary. Now that testing was done, I took it out to go trick-or-treating because that was my excuse for building it, is to have it as part of a Halloween costume. And then, I prepared to shoot the moon. Well, that about does it for today. Hope you enjoyed this video, and I'm sorry about uploading like once every 3 months because I seriously keep on procrastinating, and I'm also pretty busy with a lot of stuff. But hopefully the next video, which should be about my demonstration Farnsworth fuser that I built in a pickle jar, and also some radiation shenanigans that you definitely shouldn't do at home. Hopefully that'll release within the next month or so. We'll see. Blabagooba!